the headsmen come into our communities most times with consent of our people. That's the truth of it. They come in with consent of our people, who probably collect money to give them grazing rights, and at the end of the day, it turns out to be somebody's farm. Then there's a problem. Now, what government has done is engage the Fulani leadership in Delta State, and recently directing all local government chairmen to set up committees to engage at the grassroots level. The essence of this is to reduce areas of conflict and reasons why we should have conflict. So the government is not docile. There's a bill before the House of Assembly that is receiving due consideration. The fact that we have not passed it does not mean that we are docile. That's why you consider even states where they've been passed, they are having more issues. But the approach the Excellency has taken is to engage. And when necessary, we have to use force. Like in the Abraka area, Osisa area, some areas, government has had to go in to protect lives and properties. The Abraka area, certain battalion of mobile policemen were there. I think they are still there to protect lives and properties. So government is not docile at all. Our approach might be different, but I think what matters is the results. And that is what we are looking at, the results. Reducing casualties to the barest minimum. And I think God has been very kind to us in that respect. So I guess that answers your question on that. Cultism. Cultism, yes, is a problem. We have the anti-cultism law in Delta State. We're enforcing it. Sometime last year, early last year or so, we had about 100 and something youths, I can't remember the number now, 100 and something, in 1 week remanded in prison for cultism. So prosecution is on. But I think the major issue with cultism, without being overly spiritual, is that most cultists come from homes where the parents are into cultism. So it's a generational thing. From my experience. So parents should pay more attention to their own lifestyles, because that is what rubs off on the children in most cases. That this might not be the forum to talk about it, but I can tell you from experience, my own personal investigation into cultism in this country is that most parents of children into cultism are also into cultism. Most of them. So I don't want to be overly spiritual, but it is a generational problem. Government has been working with the schools on the issue of cultism in schools. The director for social orientation has been going around, and I know that the Ministry of Justice, they are coming up with a program also, because the function of enlightenment. Most of these people who go into cultism, they think that if they identify with a bear group, or they need support to be able to survive in society, or they need to belong. But the truth is that it's an avenue to be destroyed, so they don't appreciate it. So they need to be enlightened, to be able to understand that. So government is not resting. It's not only in Asaba. It's not only in Asaba, it's not only in Delta. But I think here is a function of helping people to understand. And I also want to appeal to our pastors to help people understand that is one of the things that disqualify people from God's kingdom. Not only if your child is in cultism, if you as a parent, you are not responsible enough to look after your child, is a problem, because the child is a trust to you from God. So I also appeal to you journalists to please do research on cultism and write on the ills of cultism. It's very, very devastating. Because for those who went from our institutions, and if you follow cultism in institutions, you know the number of persons who died as a result of cult-related activities. Even till today, I would want to mention, this morning I got report that in one part of our state, 2 persons died this morning, cult-related activity. So it's quite a problem. And unfortunately, those that are not intelligent are not the ones that died, the very intelligent ones that died. It's unfortunate. Family courts. Yes, madam, by law the CJ has direct responsibility for setting up of family courts. We don't prosecute in family courts. What happens is that if a matter is charged to court, if a crime involves a minor, then we get involved in it. And what we do is to ensure that the minor is not remanded in the prison, but there's a remand home at Saple, where the minor is sent to. Now, cases of arrest of parents and children and remand of both, if we are aware in the Ministry of Justice, of course, we have our helplines. We can always intervene to ensure that those things don't take place, because it's wrong. It's wrong. We are not saying that nursing mothers should commit crimes. It's not a license to commit a crime because you are a nursing mother. Because one of the challenges you find is that if a nursing mother commits a crime, would you now take the child from her? It depends on the age. So that's a challenge, but I'm sure we'll look for a way to try and manage that. Prison congestion. I will tell you my honest and candid opinion. I think the best way to reduce prison congestion is to introduce the YAGDEP and STEP scheme all over the country, because it will help more people to get employed. But why do people go to prison? Some because they are greedy, majority because they are stuck. That's the truth. So crime appears to be a very, very lucrative option. Because when somebody wakes up in the morning, he has nothing to do. He will gravitate towards persons who have little or nothing to do. And before you know, the person is involved in criminal activities. The person is charged to court, he goes to prison. Even when he comes out of prison, it's the grace of God that will take the person not to go back to prison within 1 month. But I would advocate that instead of building more prisons, government should create more opportunities for people to be self-employed like we are doing in Delta State. I think it's a wonderful solution to this issue of crime, criminality, and prison congestion. Because even if we review case files and get people out, what is the option? His Excellency has also advocated that we should look at prison, the rehabilitation of prisoners when they come out of prison. Because we must look for a way to break the circle. Until we break the circle in this country, it will continue. So in my opinion, state governments managing prisons, for me, that's not the solution. Building of more prisons is not the solution. The solution is thinking outside the box that has been done in Delta State and get more people engaged. Administration of criminal justice law, yes. With all sense of responsibility, we are implementing it, implementing every bit of it, because in our opinion, particularly my opinion as a person, I think it's a piece of legislation that is good for us as a people. Why do I say so? I have never understood why an election petition matter with a lot of witnesses will finish within a shorter time than a criminal matter with not more than 5 witnesses. Election petition, at times you have up to 10, 15, 20 witnesses. It finishes within 6 months. A matter with 5 witnesses will take 4 years. It means something is fundamentally wrong somewhere. So we've tried to cure that. In the Ministry of Justice, we are giving it full implementation. If the cases are viable, they are viable. If cases are not viable, they are just not viable. If the man comes out of prison, he decides to commit another crime, he goes back, and at that time the case is viable, then we'll prosecute him. So, and the governor has given us approval, and all we need to implement it. I'm sure very soon the committee would start its work, because there's a monitoring committee that will monitor our case files, monitor those who are in prison, to be able to know exactly why persons are not being taken to court. And of recent, my Lord the CJ has created more criminal divisions, which makes it very easy now for us to get these persons to court on time. Divorce cases, we don't do divorce cases. We can only mediate. There are matters that come to us. My husband is not taking good care of me. He has married another woman. My husband has refused to pay school fees and all of that. We refer them to the Department of People's Rights to deal with. 1 or 2 I've had to deal with myself because of the persons involved. It's not discriminatory. One was a pastor, and I felt that I needed to speak to him myself. And I'll happily tell you that at the end of the discussion, I had to give them money to go and cook soup, and they said they are living very well. Very, very well. Because I told the madam, I said, this is from my pocket. Go to Google, buy food. What fish do you like? The man said, take the fish, go and cook it. And the pastor who brought them came back. The pastor came back, and the pastor came back to me and said, I don't know how you did it, but the woman cooked the soup, and they are living well, living very well. Then another one, somebody who was formerly in the House of Assembly, had some issues. We also resolved that. But the officers are doing very well in that regard. Very, very well in that regard. Freedom of Information Act, well, first and foremost, I'm happy to announce that the Court of Appeal Benin has said that it does not apply to state governments. I'm sure you've heard of that judgment. Because if you examine the Act from page 1 to the end, there's nothing relating to State Attorney General, nothing talking about state government. It's a federal government act. Now, at the state level, we have proposed a bill which will soon go to the House of Assembly, domesticating the Freedom of Information Act as a law of Delta State. Now, the matter that went to court We are on appeal. We are on appeal in that matter. And our point is simple. First and foremost, procedure of service. We're very unhappy with it. Secondly, what they were asking for were not things within the possession of the commissioners at that time. So instead of going to the persons that ought to give it to them, they came to government. Like documents relating to oil prospecting are not kept with Delta State government. They are not with us. But when that matter came up, I had to find out from the Ministry of Land, what exactly do you have? And they said they had documents that related to permission for right of way. But documents relating to prospecting, those are with DPRO. So we have appealed. We have appealed. We have appealed, and of course, with this law, or with this judgment, it shows that we are right. Some persons have also taken us to the Federal High Court to say that we should bring documents, and we said no. The law does not. Well before the Court of Appeal judgment came, we said no. You can't. We can't give you. We can't give you because this is what the law says, and this is our understanding of the law. I hope that answers your question, sir. Yeah. So I think the sunshine laws, I think I've taken care of that. Kidnapping, rape, last year, convictions for kidnapping 12, robbery 29, murder 17, rape and defilement 5. Kidnapping 12 convictions, armed robbery 29, murder 17, rape and defilement 5. And I can tell you the challenge we have in rape and defilement is because parents do not want to come up to testify. They don't want their children to come out. We are trying to see how we can have trials out of the public view, because that's the only way we can move forward in this. There was an example of a man whose wife was raped, and we put pressure on him to come and testify, and he said never. That what happened in secret, why do you want to expose it? So we have that challenge, so that's why that number is quite low. The number of inmates across the state awaiting trial, I will not be able to give you a figure. Let me tell you why. It's unfortunate, but it's the truth. People go to prison every day in Delta State. It's frightening. When you deal with the fires like I deal with the fires, at times you will lose sleep. If the person is going to prison are above 50, or even above 45, there are persons who are going to prison between 16 and 24, 25. It's quite a large number. It's not pleasant, what is the truth? It's not pleasant. It's not pleasant. It's a challenge. It's as if it's a societal breakdown of values. See the society breakdown of values, and if we actually want a society that all of us will be proud of, everybody needs to go back and work. When I was growing up, just by the way, my mother had a store at Urban Market, the name, opposite what you call Urokota Hall now. And I remember that when your child gets lost in the market as a mother, there used to be a welfare office there. And they take your child to the welfare office. Before you recover your child, they will soak a bucket of garri for you, the parents, to drink. to take your child. There were measures to discipline parents for being irresponsible. But unfortunately, our society today, we don't even know who is responsible. And that's a challenge. Because if you look at the persons that are going to prison, it's frightening. It's like destinies are just being destroyed and people are just keeping quiet and nobody is doing anything. That's a challenge. Government can do its bit to protect the society, make laws, implement them, bring up programs like YADEM and STEP. But there are persons who are not in that category because there's a process to get into that category. So what happens to them? I think other groups should also come up with programs or support government in programs to reduce the number of persons who go to prison. It's quite a lot. It's quite a lot. That's about the most difficult part of my job as Attorney General, having to sign off files relating to persons, young persons, to stay in prison to be prosecuted. It's beyond just reading the law. I think as churches, mosques, even traditional doctors and traditional rulers, we all need to do more. We all need to do more. Our appeal to the NUG, maybe you need to also take time to make it part of your program. Public enlightenment on youths. Because the truth is, I always tell people, if we ignore them, 20 years down the line, we will regret it more than we are regretting it now. And that's just the honest truth. The youth population is so huge in this country, and nobody is asking what they are doing. That's a challenge. So we need to do something. It's not just government's problem, it's everybody's problem. It's everybody's problem. So ULO. Because we are well familiar with the ULO matter. We are familiar with it now. Yes. Well, at least we thank God that the airport the construction is going on. It's going very well. I happen to be chairman of the committee set up by His Excellency in respect of the airport matter. And I don't know where that figure came from. Because I know that there's a figure, but we are still reconciling. What happened was that after ULO withdrew from the contracts at the airport, we agreed that we're going to meet and take measurements and do our calculations to be able to determine who was indebted to each other. That's what we agreed. Then the matter took another turn and there was litigation. Litigation both in Abuja and here in Asaba. The litigation in Abuja, 2 cases in the Federal High Court Abuja have been transferred based on our objections, brought back to Delta. Because the contracts took place here in Delta, the matters for examination are Delta based, so the Federal High Court in Abuja cannot, in all honesty, adjudicate on them. So the court agreed because the matters have come back. But recently, ULO wrote to us, last week, they wrote to us to say, well, they would want to resume discussions. And we said, fine. So he told us 21st of May, and we said it's agreeable to us, they can come, let us go back to the airport and take measurements. As to the contracts, when we came on board, we saw some contract agreements. We didn't see some. So the assumption is that they were not prepared by the Ministry of Justice. But the ones that were not there, some of them, like the runway, initially there was no contract, but we had to insist, and we had a contract. And it's a contract that's what's saving us today, because by the terms of the contract, there cannot be variation. By terms of the contract, we contract for 3 months. And that's what we are working with. He went to Obashuku High Court and said, based on the contract, we should go for arbitration. And we said, fine, if you want arbitration, no problem. But we had then started the process already. We are talking, we are not fighting, we are talking. You've left the job, he left voluntarily, nobody drove him away. On his own, he wrote to say he wasn't going on with the job. We accepted that it was good for the interest of Delta State, because he is also a Delta, and he appreciated the need for the project to move on, so he withdrew. So it was when we were doing the measurements, he disagreed with us, he went to court. So now that he's coming back, we are very happy. We can resolve without litigation. So whoever is owing each other would pay. So I think, gentlemen, that's the position of the airport, but I think we should thank God that very soon air peace and the rest will be coming to us. Thank you so much.